Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to a video on my channel. Now, this was a completely unplanned video. It was something I thought about today while I was literally in the bathroom, and I was like, you know what? That'd be a fun video. So today's video, you've probably already seen the title, so you might have a bit of an idea what today's video is gonna be, but basically, I consider myself to be a writer. I haven't posted anything written-wise online in quite a while because I went through quite a struggle of writer's block and feeling like if I posted anything it had to be perfect and that no one cared about my stuff. Kind of a long story. It's something I'm working through and I am kind of starting to get back into my writing. But the thing I was thinking about today while I was in the bathroom was about the fact that a lot of people delete their online history because they feel a particular way about the way they used to present themselves online. And I think that to each their own, but I don't think I could ever get rid of a lot of the stuff that I've posted online, including some of my very cringy, very old stories that I've posted. And here's the thing, I don't actually find a lot of the stuff that I've written super cringy. I will cringe, but I was 12 when I wrote this stuff. Sometimes I was anywhere from 11 to 16 when I wrote this. I am now 23. That's at least 6 or more years since, some of this stuff has been posted. This stuff is old. And so of course my writing wasn't that good. I was a child. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every artist should have the space and the location to be able to post stuff and grow from that stuff, because I still got feedback on this stuff and I still made friends from it and I still had a good time, and that's all that matters. So listen, if you're online and you're thinking about deleting some of your old art or your old photography or your old writing or even just your old Facebook statuses, just take a second. Yeah, it looks cringy now, but no one's thinking that that's what you still think. And also, it's kind of fun to look back and see what, 11-year-old you was thinking at the time, because, it's fun. I don't know. I think it's totally fun and harmless. But today we're going to look at some of my old fan fiction. This stuff is still definitely public, and if y'all end up finding it, not a big deal. It doesn't bother me. I wrote it, it's public, it's on the internet, and I don't care. But today we're going to actually be reading some little snippets of some of them, and we're just going to see what I was writing back in 2010, 2011-ish. So I was 13? I was 13 when I wrote these, so keep that in mind. But we're just gonna have a little fun, and we're just kind of gonna look back at some of the stuff that I like to think about and read about as a 13-year-old. So let's jump over to my monitor. Alright, so here we are. As you can see, I've actually already pulled up my page. This is from fanfiction.net. This was my original source of writing and reading as a 13-year-old. The reason I got into fanfiction.net was very much because of the Twilight, as you can see right here. So my first 2 stories, these are sorted by when they were updated last, not necessarily when they were published. So they're sorted by update time. So this one, as you can see, was published and well, actually maybe it is sorted by published. No, it's definitely sorted by updated. I was right, because see, this one was published in 2010, but it was updated in 2011. Yeah, I've been actually rereading some of my old stuff recently, and I've started to do this thing where I'm rewriting it because I still think I had good ideas as a kid. I really do, but I just was horrible implementing them. And now also, I look back at one of my favorite and one of my favorite forever OCs, and I'm just why did I think it was okay for a 14-year-old to just go to France by herself? She's 14. She shouldn't be traveling in France by herself. But I was 14 at the time when I wrote that, and I thought I could go travel in France by myself, even though I never would. Anyways, these are very much the musings of a 13-year-old child, and I just want to look over a few of them. So we're going to start with the very, very first one that's actually down here, which is Northern Lights. I wanted to continue Breaking Dawn because I was very upset it ended. Honestly, though, I had no idea when I went into it. I had no plan for it, and so it very much dried out after 2 chapters. So if you don't know, if you've never read fanfiction before, let me give you a little breakdown here. A lot of time people have author's notes, which is what I have at the top here. I was trying so hard as I stayed on fanfiction.net for longer to be professional and to get a lot of reviews and to get a lot of kudos, which was they're actually not called kudos on here, that's a different website, they're called faves. I was trying to get as many of those as I could, because at some point I just decided I wanted to be like a fandom name. Like I wanted people to be like, oh, I've read stuff by her before, I really want to read more of it, because there were authors for me that were like that. And one of my friends that I made on this website, in my opinion, had a fandom name on the website at that time, and I loved her, and we were good friends. We would review each other's stories, we would beta each other's stories. If you don't know what beta-ing is we were editors for each other, basically. A lot of good memories on this website. But they're just so you know, if you are a creator, no matter what age you are, just keep in mind that at some point you need to be creating for yourself and not so much creating because you want. It's one thing if you want other people to enjoy it, because I want to bring that now as a creator. I want to bring the joy that I receive from YouTube videos to other people. But I'm also understanding that no matter what, I'm creating the content that I want to create, and hopefully that will bring that joy to other people. No one asked for this, but I wanted to create it, and I still think someone might enjoy it. So here we start with the author's note. This is after Breaking Dawn. Just a little FYI, in case you weren't aware. This plot and story's a bit rusty, I must admit, but this is my first fanfic. LOL, I'm actually stuck later on. The story escaped me, so all of my fans of this, if you have ideas of where this should go, please PM me. Thank you and enjoy the updated version. If you don't have an idea, why are you writing it? Like if you're like, oh, I want to continue XYZ because I liked that story, but I don't know where to continue it to, just don't. It's okay. Sometimes it's better that things are left unsaid. Libby, Alice suddenly mumbled out of nowhere from where she was seated with Jasper on the couch. What? I asked, confused. At the same time, Edward asked, as in Montana? I'm already over this. Renesmee looked up at me from where she was seated next to me on the piano bench. Edward had been playing us a song when Alice had spoken. Jake, who was seated in a chair nearby, looked curiously around us and directed his gaze at Alice, also awaiting an answer. Why did he do that? Why would he look around and then look at Alice? Why wouldn't he just look at Alice? Oh my god, you don't even get me started on how much 13-year-old Caitlin liked using ellipses. All the time. Too many ellipses. Too many ellipses. Let's count how many I can see right now. Without scrolling, in the line break, this thing doesn't count because that's a line break. Okay? So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13! Oh, you can use ellipses. Not this often. Oh, I missed one. 14. Again, we're not going to read all of the story because that would just be a 2-hour long video. If y'all want me to do a dang audiobook for you, hit me up. Maybe we'll talk about that, but that's not what this is about. This is about tidbits. Edward stopped playing and watched them intently. I would have to ask him about it later. 2 seconds later, she says, "What is it?" I hissed very silently, slightly annoyed, still not knowing what's going on. ... She didn't have the patience. She said she was going to ask him later. She did. Technically, later is 2 seconds. She never specified how much later. "I'll tell you later," Edward whispered back, even quieter. His eyes flashed to Jacob and back, and I knew what he was thinking at that point. It must have been something neither he nor Renesmee could know. Then Edward began to play again, as if nothing else was on his mind. It's bad. It's not that bad. It just is. I was 13 though, and that's okay. For a 13-year-old, this is good. If you out there, if you're 13 right now, or any age honestly, and you think your stuff is bad, it's not. There's nothing wrong with improving on yourself, and there's nothing wrong with being critical of yourself, but don't be so critical that you stop creating, because you can't get better if you don't create. I literally came to this problem where I didn't want to publish anything unless publish. I didn't want to post anything online unless I thought it was perfect. The problem was, I was never satisfied with it, and I wouldn't even write it because I didn't want what I wrote on Google Drive, which is digital, can be erased. I didn't want it to not be perfect the first time I wrote it. Even though normal authors have 6 different edited versions of a book before the 7th, which is the published version. Just listen, don't let what you think is your lack of skill deter you from creating, because you will only get better by continuing to create. And there's nothing wrong with sharing what you have to receive criticism from your fellow creators. Okay? I think that's all we're gonna read on this one. You get a bit of an idea. Alice had a vision. My writing's kind of poop. This is only 2,000 words, so approximately 1,000 words a chapter, which isn't too bad. I normally like a 2,000 word chapter as an adult now. Let's look at the reviews. Let's see what the crowd thought of this. What an intriguing first sentence, which is capped by the last sentence. Keep going. Wow, and you call me a great writer. This story is going awesome so far. I'm glad I decided to read it. Jacob's reaction was kind of funny at the end, lol. It's going good though. Hope you continue to update. Please write more. It's so good so far. Update soon. So as you can see, I wasn't even receiving negative criticism for at least this story. And yet I was still just like, everyone hates me. I'm never going to post anything again. Anyways, let's go back to my page. So that was Northern Lights. So the rest of my stories are mostly Young Justice, because Young Justice was definitely the last fandom I was really heavily involved in before I left fanfiction.net. But we have a couple other series dotted in here, like we got X-Men Evolution, we have another Twilight story that is sprinkled between a Young Justice story, and then up here we have one Vampire Diaries story. I'm not sure which one to read. I might read this one to y'all, like one chapter. I feel like it doesn't read super well, but this is definitely by far my most successful fanfic of all of them. The last story that got updated on here, or published, was in 2012, yet this one has still been updated in 2015. So clearly, I still worked on this story, like, longer than all the other ones that were on here. I'm feeling more inclined to read one-shots than I am inclined to read longer stories. If you're interested in me either reading more or reading through a long one of these, because, like, let's see, some of my really long ones, Secret Identity Public Knowledge, not finished. Half of these aren't completed, but it is 12 chapters long, which is pretty long. This one's all one-shots around the world in 80 minutes, so that one's not too bad. This one's 8 chapters long. It's Vampire Diaries. One of the ones I am, like, legit working on rewriting right now is my longest one. It's 21 chapters long. The Angel with Devil's Horns. That's part of the reason I kind of went back to my old stuff, was because of this. I've been rewriting this story recently. So I don't know if I'm gonna read that one to y'all. Let's do this one. This one gives you an idea of who my original OC was, and who she's become very well fleshed out since then. She's still my fave OC. She's actually in, can you see that? Hang on, let me move my face. Alright, up there, you see that? This is her on top of Connor's back, because that's her boyfriend. That's her boyfriend, leave it alone. Alright, let me read this author's note to you. Author's note. Okay, another story time. This time I'm gonna write like half or all of it first, so I don't have to, and neither do you, wait so long to update. Now, if you haven't read my Batman the Animated Series stories about Christie, or the prequel to this, Project Unleashed, which is the only deleted, let me throw that out here, Project Unleashed is the only fanfiction I've ever deleted from the internet. I kind of regret it. I still have it. I'm not gonna post it ever again. If y'all want me to read that. Anyways, it's the only fanfiction, or really anything that I've ever, like, seriously deleted from the internet. I'm, again, very much one who's like, you don't need to delete stuff from the internet. First of all, someone can find it, even if it was deleted. I'm pretty sure I can find it, even though it's deleted. I just, at one point, really hated it, because my OC, my original character, had evolved so much from the creation of that story that she was a very different person. Anyways, let's read this author's note, shall we? That all aside, the prequel to this, Project Unleashed, redacted, then you're going to be a little lost here. If you're like me and wouldn't feel like going back to read about her, well, you'll be so confused. So I'll just recap here for your sake. What a long-winded way for me to say, please go read my other stories, but here's a recap if you don't feel like it. Christie is the orphan daughter of Bruce's late best friend, Gray Kingsley, who died in a lightning strike with his wife. It was a strike that should have killed Christie, who was 2 at the time, also, but for some reason she lived when her parents didn't. Bruce adopted her, not wanting her to grow up without her parents. Later, when she was 10, Bruce adopted Dick as well. In case you didn't know, that is Robin's identity. I'm going to be saying the word Dick a lot in this, and it's a name. It's not a common name anymore, but Richard used to be shortened to Dick, and that's his name. Get over it. You knew he adopted Dick, but I thought I'd let you know they are the same age, though Dick is a few months older and always teases Christie about it. Then they just started to discover Christie had powers. She could fly, read minds, go through walls, create force fields. She can do lots more. Lots of other things too, but for time's sake, you'll just have to discover what she can do in the story. So much has changed about Christie. I could do a whole video on Christie. I could do a whole video on a lot of these things. I love Christie a lot. I have changed her so much and matured her a lot as a character. There's a lot of things that when I was a kid, I would just write things because I wouldn't think through the logistics of it because I was 13, and 13-year-olds don't, it's fine. But as I'm rewriting things, I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. That couldn't happen. This couldn't happen. And so I've changed a lot of things. Let's read. What? Let's pick one of them. Curly Q. Oh, cool. There's only like 3. That's fine. Let's go to Curly Q. I'm pretty sure I know this one. So this is why Flash gave her the nickname Curly Q at one point. I don't think she has that nickname anymore in my brain, but at one point she did, because I wanted her to have a fun nickname. Christy's point of view. Dick and I were at home, being bored, when Wally called us. If you've never watched Young Justice, Wally is Kid Flash, aka Flash's nephew. Hey guys, I'm at my Uncle Barry's house right now, and my aunt is out shopping. So we wanted to know if you two would like to come out to eat with us, Wally said. Dick and I were headed out of the living room and towards the front door when we heard a car door. Alfred, we're going with Barry and Wally to go out to eat, Dick shouted down the hall. Like, they don't even ask permission. They didn't even ask permission. I mean, yes, they're friend, but like, you can't just leave without telling your guardian where you can't just be like, bye guardian, didn't ask permission, I'm heading out. They're 13. Wally was standing outside of the car waiting with his uncle standing on the other side. They were probably my third favorite people to hang out with that knew the Batman and Robin secret, and if they knew the secret, it was always easy enough to connect me with it too. Oh my god, don't even get me started. At one point, Christy didn't even have a secret identity, y'all. She just went out with Batman and Robin as Christy. I don't think that's the case anymore because up here it says Christy/Scarlet. Her secret identity is Scarlet. And she has a costume now, and it's pretty cool. Do you want to see a picture of the costume? Hang on. There she is! Look at my little baby. No. Look at her! She's such a cutie. We got Dick right here from his Young Justice uniform, which is one of my favorite renditions of his outfit. We've got Batman, and he's not voiced by Kevin Conroy in Young Justice. Don't even get me started on that, but he's still a good Batman. At one point, though, she used to go fight crime just as Christy, and no one ever associated the fact that a billionaire's daughter was also commonly seen out with Batman, who also happened to have a young boy sidekick who was about the same age as Dick Grayson. I was stupid, man. That one was just sheer stupidity. Again, I could do a whole video on the history of Christy Wayne Kingsley. Her last name is Wayne-Kingsley. I could do a whole ass history on her, because her like timeline of what she used to be versus what she is now is insanity. I kind of want to. It might happen whether y'all want it or not. Anyways, let's keep reading. So where do you kids want to eat? Barry asked as we headed out of the gate leading up to Bruce's house. Hardee's! Wally and Dick shouted at the same time before anyone else could speak. I told my uncle here about how you managed to eat 3 large thing of curly fries. Wait, what do you call them again? Curly Q's, I told him, grinning. Anyways, I told him how you showed us how you could eat 3 large thing of curly Q's from Hardee's in under 5 minutes. Now that's insane. And he didn't believe and said he could eat them faster. Oh, so this is a challenge, I asked Barry, whipping my head around to glare at him playfully. Barry laughed, casting the glare right back, not looking at the road. Yeah, you are so on. $5 you lose, Barry, he bet. $5 that you lose also, Wally chipped in. My god, they got some faith in my 13-year-old stomach. Barry looked back at them in shock. You're gonna bet against me? Both of you? Alright, that's 10 more bucks for me, I guess. Hey, Christy, Dick, we're here, Wally announced rather loudly. It made me think he'd been trying to get our attention for a while now. Dick and I got out of the car silently, not looking at the other. Whoa, did you two have some sort of secret fight while we were driving? Wally asked, feeling the tension between us. Very astute. Dick shrugged it off easily. It's just our normal fight that never seems to end. Don't worry about it. Wally shrugged. Okay, well, come on, before Uncle Barry gets all the fries they have. I laughed, and the 3 of us ran inside at a human pace, because at this point in Christy's timeline, she could also run at super speed. Sure enough, when we got inside, I noticed Barry was already waiting in line to get food with only one person in front of him. 3 large orders of curly fries, please, he said, snickering under his breath. The man who had been before us got his order first, obviously, but then Barry and I came out at about the same time too. We took our trays and went over and sat at a table for 2, staring at each other competitively. Alright, on your mark, get set, go! Barry and I began chowing down, basically eating faster than humanly possible as we choked down the fries without condiments, in case you were wondering. Barry and I both downed the first container in about a minute. I know he'd never admit this, but I finished the first one a second before he did. As we scarfed down the second one, I began to inch ahead and we both knew it. I smiled as I ate. Girl, this is too much emoting to happen while you are shoveling fries into your mouth. I just ate faster, finishing the second one a few seconds before he did, and anyone with eyes would have seen that. Now we were both on our last one, eating faster with each second, but I was still ahead. I cracked one more grin as I reached into the container one last time and finished off my fries. I leaned back, my hands behind my head as I snickered. The look on Barry's face was priceless. That was a story. That was a whole adventure. But yeah, so that was me rereading like some old stories from my childhood. I hope you guys liked it. It's a bit different of a video. I've never really done something like this before. Again, there's a lot of other videos in this genre that I wouldn't mind doing again. Like doing a new start, like all the ones I've said throughout the video. If any of those interest you, tell me. There's a good chance I might make them if enough people are interested. Either way, I might still make a video about Christy just for funsies. But that one video I was talking about where like I rewrite a story and show you guys how I would change it, let me know if that's, I just never know if that's going to be interesting to people. But either way, if you're here at the end of this video, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around with me on this random journey that I decided to take. You guys are the best. I absolutely love you. If you have any suggestions for video types like this that you want to see me do, I do have more stories that I obviously didn't even brush the surface of, all these other ones here. And this one is my most popular one behind the scenes. If you ever want me to read a chapter of that, let me know. I feel like it doesn't hit home as well when read audibly, and also if you've never seen the show before, it legit is like I made up a bloopers reel. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified whenever my videos come out, you should hit that notification bell, because I kind of post randomly and it's very unfortunate, but I'm working on it. But thank y'all for being here. Again, please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It'll mean the world to me, and I'd love to see some comments, whether it's talking about your own stuff that you've created in the past, your thoughts on creativity, if you have questions about writing tips, anything. Just tell me about it. I would love to talk with y'all about it. But that's it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!